Welcome back. Now, for all that talk, Labor's doing their best to manage spending your money and get rid of the waste. Have a listen to this. The Greens party room. This is a room, a single room in the Parliament House building in Canberra. The renovation costs there have blown out to $2.2 million. This is for a room, including some $50,000 on carpet. Then the Department of Climate Change, we've seen now what they spent heading off to that conference last year, the UN conference in Brazil, $1.6 million there to send 32 bureaucrats to South America. Let's bring in my panel now. Sky News contributor Jamie Rogers and One Nation Chief of Staff James Ashby. Well, James, not just all of that. I made mention a bit earlier. Chris Bowen's phone bill, just for the time he was at that conference in Brazil, is an incredible $60,000. I mean, these clowns are taking the proverbial, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. This is just further proof they don't care that it's your money they're spending and they think they're entitled to do it. If it was you or I, Peter, I know when I travel overseas, you can pay the $10 per day for global roaming. There's no way you and I would end up with a $60,000 bill. And if we did, we'd be calling the company straight away to deal with it or the Ombudsman to help fix it. But this is a government that don't care. It's not just Chris Bowen, it's Annika Wells we saw prior to Christmas. She got off fairly lightly because we had that terrorist attack in Bondi because she was on the hook for all this unnecessary spending. I'm building a house at the moment, which is 240 square metres. It's less than half the cost of doing up a meeting room for the Greens. Something's not right. This is a government that just is recklessly spending our money, and that is why we're paying over $60 million a day in interest on money we owe financial markets right across the globe as a government. It's just disgraceful and disgusting, and One Nation, we would not be doing this if we had control.
It's not just federal Labor, it's state Labor too, Jamie. In Victoria, the government's going to spend $40 million to fight a class action brought by a whole lot of businesses who were hit hard by COVID. At the same time, we've learned that Labor's going to pay the new chairs of its Indigenous Peoples Assembly a whopping $350,000 each in a salary. And let's not forget, when that People's Assembly was elected, I'll say this loosely, in 2019, only 7% of those eligible Indigenous people in Victoria even voted, and it's going to cost taxpayers in a busted, broken state like Victoria $6 million a year to run.
It's just outrageous, isn't it, Peter? And when you look at the breakdown of those salaries, you mentioned the co-chairs will be receiving $350,000 each, but the other members, there'll be 33 in total, and they're all going to be receiving similar pay to what current voted-in MPs are going to be receiving. And you know what else that caught my eye when I was reading about this ridiculous salary? They don't even necessarily have to work full-time. It's up to them to decide how many hours they're going to work. So they'll be getting these huge salaries, and it's not even clear if they're going to be working full-time. Plus, they'll also be allowed to have another job if they want to. The caveat is they can't work for another government organisation or for an MP. It's absolutely outrageous. And considering as well, Peter, Victoria voted no for the Voice referendum, and now Jacinta Allen thinks that this is a priority over things like the ballooning deficit that Victoria is facing, the crime, ambulances. You could have been buying some more ambulances for your state. It's just a joke.
And then to add insult to injury, the plan to deal with debt is not to stop wasting our money, James. In Canberra, they're going to sell off all these defence assets. They'll reap, in gross terms, about $3 billion, but they say it's going to cost them about $1.5 billion to sell them, so we'll only make as taxpayers $1.5 billion, and that $1.5 billion doesn't include all the remediation works that you and I know, like asbestos remediation, for example, before they even go to market. So they'll sell them off, and I don't reckon the taxpayers will get any money at all.
No, very little of it will. I'd love to know what the commission is. They're going to have to pay one of those corporate entities to help broker the deal as well. Look, this is a government that is desperate to spend other people's money, and when they run out of it, they then start either taxing more or they sell off things. Now, they're also a government that has criticised previous governments of Conservative ilk who have sold off power stations or power grids, that sort of thing. And here they are selling off defence land. There's almost 70 of these sites they want to get rid of. And again, it's going to be piddled up against a brick wall because it won't go to good, decent things. They won't reinvest it back into defence. And what is left is a drop in the bucket, really, compared to what should be put into defence. Look, it's a ridiculous thing. I think this government, they would sell off Parliament House to a sovereign wealth management fund if they could, and they'd rent it back just for the extra cash. It's a bad, bad decision. One Nation do not support the sell-off of any of our defence land.
They'd probably just give it away to the Chinese, let's be honest. We'd be kidding ourselves if they're going to do anything else. Chinese might get it anyway, the way we're going. On that very depressing note, I've got to leave it there. Sorry, Jamie, I'm out of time, but we'll go first to you next week.